Okay, so he asks that when do you concatenate in Excel? What's to answer that? When do you concatenate in Excel? What's to answer? When you want to combine two things. Not combine second, what is the same and so put together? You get it? When you want to combine second and then put together, you will concatenate combine. When you want to combine second and particular text quotation, I use concatenate or something else. When you want to combine things, that's when you say concatenate. Any other question? If there are questions, Bishop will answer. So thank you so much. You would continue today's session now. And I think Bishop will come now. We are going to of the night. Thank you and I need your phone well today.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Can you hear me? Should I increase my voice? Okay, good morning, everybody. Can you hear me there? Okay, so good morning. I'm sure we've enjoyed our Excel training so far, right? What that key thing is learned that you will not forget. Not one key thing. Just one. I'll take from 3 people. So, one key thing you wouldn't forget. Okay. This is the formula. I think. Okay. Okay, now next. Yeah, thank you. Any other question? What's that key thing you learned that you didn't forget? Huh? No, it cannot be. It cannot be. So, how to use pivot table. Okay. Okay, so today, what we have to do today is something simple, like very simple, but very important and very important. So far, we've been building tasks, building tables in Excel, right? Yeah, so what we are going to be building today is a dashboard. The dashboard in Excel. And why is dashboard important? Now, yeah, in the business world, in the business setting, all those reports we created in our Excel, we can see they are not well aligned, they are scattered in different places. And most of the times, your manager, your organization, they want to keep that sort of business at that point in time. And that's what your dashboard is helping to show how your business is at that point in time. So dashboard typically, if I was to define, typically that one page snapshot that gives the user the most bit of information in the key of time. So should I take that again? Okay, so I said the dashboard I think it is a snapshot that gives users most bit of information in each piece of time. Do we all understand that? Okay. So right now, if we open our emails, but if you have the file you used yesterday, that's fine as well. But if you don't have the file, you can download the file via your email. Check your email. So I'll just need like 2 minutes for us to open the file. The moment you have it open, so the file is yesterday, historical sales data. If you cannot hear me, please stop. If you cannot hear me, please stop. Okay.
Okay.
So do we all have it open? Do we have the fan open? If you have any, want to give the hand. So you can check your TV to have we all have the fan open? You have the fan open? You have the fan open? Yes. You have the fan open? Any issue? Okay, so please let's look at my screen. So please let's look at my screen. Okay. Okay, so before. Okay, so let's look up. Just so that we're clear, we can all see my screen, right? Yes. We can see what I kept on the screen. Okay, so before you go ahead to build out your dashboard. It's key or it's important to know that most of the time, especially for data analysis, you will have different requirements, things that the business is want to see at the particular point in time. Now, if you are working, sometimes your company is hello, hi. If you are working, sometimes your company will provide these requirements for you. But sometimes as an analyst, they have checking the data for testing things. Now, there are key KPIs we want to see from that data. So the largest amount of the students they don't know before. Who can remember of the definition like this of the data? Any question?
It's not the option. Both of them can go.
Okay, I like that. Then any other question like the tool that how I describe that word? Okay, 20 to 10, 20. Okay, I know you know getting the point. So don't worry, you will take it. Okay, so with that definition in mind, you cannot just start integrating the report about things. So you have to target specific information, deliver results, and take that. Now, I will be asking our manager. I'll be asking our manager, and I'll be telling you what I want to see in my single screen is I want to be able to see the total sales that we made. The total sales, I want to be able to easily see the total sales that we made. I want to see the total units that we sold, the total market, the count of your transaction. I want to see our revenue by region, revenue by line of business, revenue by month. And the last thing I want to see is our month-on-month revenue growth. Okay, so let me zoom in a bit. Based on what we have here, based on these KPIs that we have here, how many of them can we do by ourselves? How many of these reports can we create by ourselves? Everything? I said based on these KPIs I kept. So these KPIs are the business requirements. So I said, you people have been doing Excel, right? By Excel expert. I'm the manager now. How to give people money? So how many of these can you do by yourself? All of them. Okay. Month-to-month. Okay. 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 So if you can do all of them, so my first question is, how do you get the total fee? Okay. Okay, feel confident in directing how to do 2000. Feel confident, 20 points. 20 points. And please, if I am giving you points, please note it down before maybe during the break. Come and look me. So, who is confident? You are confident. You are 10 to 20. So, I'll go to this. Toba is here. Oh, please don't disgrace Toba because Toba thought you people this thing yesterday. Okay, so I have the data here. Okay, so how should I go about doing that? Total sales. Okay, okay. I'm going to use the formula. Formula with pivot tables. Okay, nice attempt. How you did it? Okay, you want to direct me? Okay. Yes. Yes. Using pivot tables. Okay, so I'll come here insert, right? So the insert. The insert. You're not directing me well. Insert, okay. Okay, tables. Okay, pivot table, okay. Okay, so now that I have done this new worksheet, right? Existing worksheet, okay. Okay, yeah, right? And I can come somewhere here, right? No, don't worry, I can do it here. Okay. Okay, can you see this issue I'm getting? So I'll come again, insert. So for this demo, we are going to create a way you can easily automate your report. You need automate your reporting. So you need your data sheet, which is what we have here. You need your control, that where the backend where you'll be creating the reports. Then you need your maybe your dashboard or your report, your final report sheet that's in the clean format that you want to show your end user. So I will create a control sheet right now. So let's just remove control. So I'll be on the data. So I'll come to insert, yes, like a right table, pivot table, from table of int, right? Then I can select this. This is the sheet. Let me select existing worksheet because I have that control sheet already. Come to control, drop it here. Drop it here. Right. So you can see the pivot table. So please direct me. How do I create that report? Okay. Let me just I want to close this formula bar. Okay. Okay, so I should drag revenue to values field. Okay. Is this correct? Total sales, that's what I asked. This total sales. So did everybody get that? Very simple. Total sales. Okay, if I have to see the average of the sales, what should I do? Formula. Okay, anybody for 20 points. How do I get the average? Who wants to try? Think we did do average. Okay, my leader, the average. So please, are we all following? Are you following there? Are you following? Is that baby following? Okay. Okay, so nobody. no idea on how to do average. Okay. So by default, the default aggregation you have on your table is sum. When you load a value field into your pivot table by default, it does the sum of that value for you. If you want to change that value from sum to average, to count, to mean, to max, you can do it in pivot table. By just easily, I can just stay while I'm on the pivot table, right click, and there's a section called summarize values by. So I'll go over it again. This report we have, right click, summarize values by. Can you see this? Yes. Now there are some pre-built simple functions you can do, like the sum, the count, the average, the mean, the max, the minimum, the product of the value. And you have the more options to see more options. But so if I want to do average, I'll just need to click on average, and that will change this value from the sum of the revenues to the average revenue that we have there. Do we all understand that? Do I need to take it over again? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. So first of all, thanks to our second facilitator for helping us to get the sum of the revenue. Now, for what he did was, after we've inserted our pivot table, you just need to come to your values field and you can check the value that you have, which is revenue. And that gives you the sum of the revenue. That answers to one question, right? So if you want to see the average revenue, we can just right click on this. I click on this and do show value, summarize values by, and you can show it as average. If you want to show it as max, you can show it as max. If you want to show it as count, you can show it as count, mean as well. So with that in mind, right? With that in mind, so my question is, can we do the other tables that we need? Total units sold, total market, count of transactions. Can you do it? Can you do other API? No. Okay, so I need a volunteer, somebody to direct me. Hello. So please, what's the name? Yeah, and so you can direct me how would we do total unit sold? You're not saying anything. You don't know? But you saw how I did total revenue. So please, if you are not clear with something, please let's ask questions. Because I can call people at random sometimes to see if you are following. Okay, so for this total units sold, I want somebody that hasn't spoken today. So, Kentu, don't worry, I'll get back to you. Somebody that hasn't spoken today. Please, for this total units sold, how do you think? For total units sold, 24. And I don't know if you said it before. There's actually something for the reading thing. Okay. 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 So I want you to direct me. So on this, I want to add it to this same pivot table. I don't want to add it to another pivot table, right? So how would I go about doing this? I want to see the sum of revenue. I also want to see the total units sold. Create another pivot table. Okay. That would work, but will that be the best approach? Okay, so if I click on the revenue, revenue wouldn't show again. So this sum of revenue is one report. I want to see it. I still want to see it, but I want to also see total units sold. I don't want to start creating multiple pivot tables to just show me total value. Okay. Okay, so for an attempt, right, I'll give you 10 points. So please note it down. Note it down. But any other person, do you understand what I'm trying to say? Do you all understand me? Okay, so what I'm saying is sum of revenue is one report already. Besides it, I don't want to create another pivot table. Besides it, I want to see the total units sold. What do I need to do? Anybody confident? I've heard from her before. Let me hear from you. Okay. So it's the same thing this Havana said, but okay. Okay, so you've tried, but it's still similar to what our brother was saying. Okay, so let me hear from she raised her hand first. I'll get to you. Okay. Yes. Okay. Okay, so on the pivot table fields, right? All I just need to do is what? Click on the unit sold. Just that simple. Just that simple. Just click on the unit sold. So that gives me the sum of the unit sold. Is there anything like magic so far? Anything like magic so far? Simple, right? Very simple. If you are not following, please. So any issue? Yes, sir. Okay. I should come again. So what she said was, you have this table, right? You have your pivot table already, sum of revenue. All you just need to do under the pivot table fields, just click on units sold. Units sold. And you have the total units sold already. So that point is clear, right? So we will still get to what we want to do is we want to create a dashboard. But before we create a dashboard, we need to have all our reports for the dashboard ready. So the dashboard looks nice and neat. So out of the KPIs, which other KPI do I not have on my dashboard? Total markets. Any idea on how we can know the total unique market? So that's what I wanted to say from our data. Total unique market from our data. Click that market, okay? Okay, so you click on market. Okay, let me follow you. Click on market. So what should happen when I click on market? Oh. Okay. So it's the same data that we're working with. Okay, so this is what happened when I click on market. So any way I can salvage this situation. Is there any way I can Ah, sorry. Okay. So anyway, is there any way I can salvage this situation? So just one moment, let me move this. I need to bring something. Ah, okay. Can we all see the screen? Okay, so I said, is there any way I can solve the problem? What we want to see, total unique market. Total unique market. So for us to see total unique market, right? The approach is almost the same, but slightly different. Do anybody have any idea that when I click on market, the reason why it's showing us is showing us the data is different? What's the difference between clicking on market and clicking on revenue or unit growth? We've done this before, it has appeared in our tools before. What's the difference between clicking on market and clicking on revenue or unit? What's the difference? I'm looking for a particular one. If you can get it, how you like 25 points? How particular one?
Market is not the
Excellent. Please, hope you are marking your points down. Excellent. Yeah. So it's fine. So it's fine. Okay, so it's 100% correct. Can we remember what categorical and quantitative field? That's one of the things Toba first started on. Now, what goes into your values field are normally your quantitative fields. Quantitative fields are things you can add up together and make sense. Like if I add up my account balance and his account balance, it makes sense. But if I add up his account number and my account number, if it was the money, it would have made sense. So, so that's the thing. Categorical fields are things that give more context to your data. They give more context to the number. So if I just say 10 million, the question you ask, what is 10 million? Where did 10 million come from? Isn't that the question you ask? When did 10 million come from? So categories are things that give you context to your data. Now, the key difference between clicking on market, clicking on unit sold or revenue is what it said. Market is a categorical field and revenue and unit sold is a quantitative field. But does that mean you cannot do aggregation, do some level of aggregation of categorical fields? You can still do some aggregation of categorical fields. And what you can do from your end, drag the market, you need to force it to be a quantitative field. Can you see what I did? I dragged the market from rows to values. So, but what did it count for me? What did it do for me in this market? What value are we seeing this? Count of market, right? Count of market. Can we all see my? Can we all follow it? These are not things coming back. Are you all following? Okay. So what's the issue? And you can do this into application. Okay, so what do we notice about this market? Is this the total market? Total unique market. Did this figure answer the question that we have as total unique markets we have? Is it correct? Can I go back? Okay, no problem. Okay, so we can see the data like this. Now, what I said is when you first click on markets, market as a categorical field will go into either your rows or it will go into your columns, depending on the Excel. Most times it will go to your rows by default. Now, I said if you want to force it, if you want to perform aggregation on a categorical field, typical aggregation is counting. If you want to do a count of a categorical field, what you just need to do is move the field from your rows, or if it's in your columns, you can move it from your column and drag it into your values. Drag it into your values. So what I just did was move it from my rows. If it's in your column, move it from your column and drag it into your value. Into your value. And with that, you have the count of market at that figure. Now, so my question was, is this number accurate? Is this number accurate? Is it correct? Is it correct? Ah. So then I want to give you $1 million now. And I have to present this report to me. You are telling me we have 3,000 markets in our business. Who are the managers? Where is the money from this market coming from? So look at this data, right? So what do you think is the issue with this number? What do you think is the issue with this number? Just looking at it, just eyeballing the data. Like why do you think this count of market is if you believe, or if you believe we have 3,000, 3,000 markets? It's still large, right? So what do you think is the issue of this market? So majorly, as an analyst, one thing you need to do is identify problems. 90% of the job may be identifying the problem before you now even go ahead to solve the solution. So this count of market, the reason why we're having this value is because excellent. It's continuing. So 10 points for that. So the reason why we have this number of markets, right? The reason why we have this number of markets is because, like you said, there are duplication. That's why if you notice what I did, I changed my question from what is total market we have to what is total unique market that we have. Total unique market that we have. In the data, because of how the data is. So let me go back to the data. Let me go back to the data that we have. I just want to show how we do see this. Right? Okay. So because of how the data is, can you see the data right now? So based on the data, what count of markets is doing is, if I scroll to the left right now, you see this market is counting every single row. And just looking at this, you can see federal capital territory, like this said, how many times? multiple times, right? Yes. So the reason why you have that is this is a sales data, So it's possible that somebody can go to a store in the federal market, in the federal capital of Abuja, more than once, or more than twice. But if you need to answer the question of how many unique stores do we have, unique markets do we have, your question is, you need to change this count from a count of the market to a count of distinct markets or a count of unique markets. So how can we do that simply with pivot table? So on this data set, the same way we did the other one, if you right click, summarize values by, let's click on more options. So if we scroll down, what are the options here? Okay. Let me see how. That's it. This thing is supposed to be. Okay, so I'm trying to find the distinct option. So the distinct option is normally in the list. I think I'm going blind. I can't see it. Am I going too fast? Huh? You can't? Huh? Or is there an update? Sorry. So what options can you see on your Excel, just to be sure? From when you click on summarize values by, what options can you see? What options can you see from your end when you click on summarize values? Okay. Okay, it's not a problem. So it's something we could go back. We can go back to as we proceed. So not to waste much time, we would hold up on this. We will hold up on this measure count of market. I can do it normally with Excel. There's a function in Excel to easily be able to do it. But in pivot table actually has the capability to do it by itself already. So, but without wasting much of our time, so let's go on. So that report, we just keep it on hold. Let me just remove the count of market, right? So what are the other KPIs that we have? What other KPIs do we have in our data set? Count of transactions. Now, count of transaction is actually a very simple one. So what we are saying is how many transactions happened in our data set. Who can help us to answer that question? If you are doing it in Excel, normal Excel, how many transactions happened in your data set? Just looking at the data. I'm tired of giving him points. So did anybody hear me? So to count the number of transactions in your data set, how would you do it? So he said count the number of rows that you have in your data set. So for us to do this, we can use any of the fields, even the market fields, for example. You can use your unique fields that you have. If you just click on any of these fields, by fields I mean region, maybe your market as well. So we are still getting the same values, right? This 32529, right? While still getting this value, this value global your data set. So we are going to have this count of transactions in your data sets. So count of transactions. Okay. Okay, so with that in mind, right, we have built like 90% of the reports we need already. Revenue by region, we did that yesterday, right? That's clear for everybody. Revenue by region. No need to be. We've done that yesterday. Okay, one person said it's not around. Revenue by line of business, say revenue by month. Okay, so if you check the data set I sent under the sheet 1, I think some of the reports are already there in the data set. So we have revenue by line of business. Okay, we don't even have revenue by region. So it's something we can play around with. So let me just teach you one effective trick you can use. To insert another pivot table into your data, rather than going to home, going to the data itself, going to insert, right? You can just copy one pivot table, place it in another section, and you can replace the fields that you have in the data. So let me explain a bit. So I'll just do Control A, Control C. Going to come here, Control V. So I'll copy this. This becomes another pivot table, essentially. Now, what I can do is I can remove all this other stuff I've added for my data. So my pivot table is new. So this is like a new pivot table. Did you all get that? No, sir. So what I said is Control A to highlight all. Control A is the shortcut to highlight all. You highlight the entire pivot table. Control C to copy it. Then once you copy it, you can place it in any other place you want to. Are we all following? Are you lost? Who said yes? I heard a yes. Okay, why are you lost? Where are you lost? Huh? Okay, so where? How can I help you on that? Okay. Okay. Did you understand how we generated revenue? Sum of revenue. Huh? This is what I'm lost. Sum of revenue. The very first line. The very first line. Okay. Okay, so please look up. Hello. Hello, please look up. So I'll just tell you where we are. Yeah. It's not Power BI, it's Excel. Why are you using Excel now? Okay. Okay. Okay, sorry. Okay, so please let's look up now. Let's look up now. So I'll just quickly repeat all we've done since so far is click. Am I lying? All we've done so far is just click on the button. So just to recap, so please for those who are lost, for pivot table and for those who were not around yesterday, what pivot table does is pivot table helps you to quickly summarize your numbers. So by summarizing your numbers with pivot table, you can quickly find insight based on your data. And how you can create a pivot table, your data is in a table. So we know the difference between data in a table and not in a table. So if your data is in a table, it has the table design icon on top. Type icon on top. Mine has it, it's just that because of how the screen is showing, I have to scroll between the table design. So that shows your data is in a table. So once your data is in a table, you can go to the Insert tab in your data. Go to the Insert tab in your Excel. So the top icons on my screen are called your ribbon or your tabs. Under the Insert tab, click on Table, click on Pivot Table. Click on Pivot Table, then select from Table or Range. Table or Range. The moment you select from Table or Range, you can select the table that you want, and you can select New Worksheet. So that's the process of creating a pivot table. I hope that's clear for everybody now. The process of creating pivot table is clear for everyone now. Is it clear for you? Sorry, the lady, it's clear for you, right? Okay, so the moment you created the pivot table, I'll get to the point right here. The moment you created the pivot table, now we are on the pivot table. Let's take this as a new pivot table. So once you get the total revenue that we have, all you just need to do is on your pivot table, you have something called pivot table fields. Your pivot table fields are all your column header in your data. So if we want to see our total revenue, I just need to click on revenue, and revenue comes into the sum of revenue. Sum of revenue. And I said, if I want to change this from sum of revenue, I can right click, summarize values by, and I can change it to count, average, max, mean, dependent on what I want to do, right? Is that part clear? Yes. Please, you're not looking, please. Okay. So, once you've done this already, so this is sum of revenue. And I said, if I want to add another report to this, a total report, simple total report, I want to see the units sold. I'll just need to click on units sold. And this gives me what? This gives me the sum of units sold. Are you following? Are you lost? I'm talking to the people are you lost? Are you lost? You are following, right? Okay. Okay, so you are following. Okay, so now you click on sum of units. So the next thing is, the next thing I said is count of transaction. Now for this count of transaction, what I said is you can bring any of your categorical fields, maybe your region, your revenue, your market, your store. You can bring any of those fields and drag them into your values. Drag them into your values. Can you see? Did you see that? I just brought the region, for example, because the count of transaction is the count of all the rows in your data set. I just brought it to values. So is this point clear for everybody now? It's clear for everybody now. So to see the revenue by units sold, what you just need to do is, okay, no problem. So to see the revenue by unit, so what you just need to do is select your revenue, and to see revenue by region, sorry, and you select your region. It's just that simple. Click. Okay, so we're all clear with this, right?
So no issues from this point, right? So this was done in the previous session by Toba. Yes. Yeah. So I said to copy, if you want to copy a pivot table and paste it in another place, that's what I said. To copy a pivot table and place it somewhere else, be on the pivot table, press Ctrl A, then Ctrl C. So Ctrl A to highlight all. Or you can highlight all, but I don't recommend highlighting all because you may miss a section also. Ctrl A, Ctrl all, that's what it means. And Ctrl C to copy it, then paste it where you want. So we're all at this point, right? Revenue by region. We did this yesterday. Right? Okay. So so to get the format that we need our data to be, one thing is these numbers are way too large, right? These numbers are way too large in our data set. And Toba taught this yesterday, especially for those who are not following, right? What we need to do is we want to present our data in a nice and neat way so that the audience can grab as much information we need at a little bit of time. So if I'm looking at this, I don't know if this is 4 billion, I don't know if this is 5 billion, or can we easily tell? Unless those that are very good with money, which I'm sure we are good with money, but can we easily tell what values this are? So for us to do this, for us to summarize this number, I want somebody that did this yesterday. I want anybody, you did this yesterday, how can we go about summarizing the number? Or you were in class yesterday, apart from if you've not talked before, 20 points. 20, you can go. I want to summarize this number. So this number is too large. Okay, so direct me on how to do it. So everybody said I should right click. Okay. Number format. Select custom. Okay. 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 Okay, so just so that we are all clear, why is saying 3 commas? 1 comma represents 1,000. 1 comma represents 1,000. What we are trying to do is present the number in a neat way that anybody that sees it will be able to understand the data. That's what we are doing. Now, a format does not change what is in the cell. It only changes what you see. And what you see is not necessarily what is in a cell. So that's a famous quote, by the way. So a format cannot change what is in the cell. It doesn't change what is actually there. It only changes what you see. And what you see is not necessarily what is in a cell. So let me show us one trick. If I want to hide this number completely, if I do something like this, if I do something like this, and I click on OK, can you see? I hid the number. The number is still there. The number is still there. Are we following? The number is still there, but you cannot see the number unless if when you go there and you check the formula bar. But you can still use that number for something else. So that's what a format does. A format just changes how you see the number. It doesn't change the value. If you look at my formula bar, what value are you seeing there? So the value is still in that cell, but it doesn't change. It only changes how you see this cell. It doesn't change what is in the cell. So let me just do Control Z. Now to go back to the number format, right click, number format, come to custom this one, right? So if I want to summarize this number by 1,000, what I'll do is 1 comma summarizes it by 1,000, 2 comma summarizes it by 1,000,000. Three comma summarizes it by 1,000,000. Okay, is it comma there? Huh? Okay. Oh, I think it's maybe your Zoom. Okay, it's the Zoom. Okay, so let me just be sure it's comma that I'm typing in. Okay, so I said 1 comma represents 1,000, 2 comma represents 1,000,000, and 3 comma represents a billion. Now you can put it in quotes, in quotation to show what you want to see. Let me be sure. Am I seeing right? So, okay. Okay, so you can keep it in quotes to show what you want to. Okay, so can you see this? Are we all following? Hello? Are we all following? Are we lost? Okay, so I can just put this in quotation and type BN and close my quotation. Right? Just checking what I. Okay. Sorry, my eyesight is not necessarily the best. So please pardon me for that. So is that BN? Is that a quotation? Just want to wish. Okay, so there's no close quotation, right? Is it showing now?
Yes.
Okay, it's showing now, right? Okay, so the moment you are done with formatting it like that, you can click on OK. You can click on OK. But one thing to note is that once you've done a format once, you can see the format below as options for you to use in your Excel as well. So one other thing I'll just do for this data is I'll add decimal. I'll add like 2 decimal, 0.00. Did you see what I did? I just added 2 decimals, so 0.00 to add 2 decimal place, and I can click on OK. Click on OK. So this shows my revenue by my region. Now let's quickly create one simple chart from this. Now who can remind me the shortcut to create a chart? Okay, so we're following. So you can do Alt F1 on your keyboard, or if for some reason it's not working, you can go to maybe recommended charts or right click. You can go to recommended charts under insert and you can load any of the charts that you want. So let me go with a bar chart and I can click on. There's the OK button in this. This seems too big. Click on OK. So I can select a bar chart and maybe click on OK. Now you can leave it at the default chart as well, and you can always edit the charts. So I'm just trying to make this screen a bit smaller. Okay, so I can go to insert, recommended charts. Maybe I can select this one or any of the charts I want, but bar chart, I'll use the bar chart and click on OK. Now from your end, the OK button will show, it's supposed to show, but it's because of the projector. Let me just try to move this dialog box. Move this Excel. So I'll just move my screen off a bit so I can show it. So it's the same thing from your end. All you just need to do is click on OK. select the bar chart, and I'll click on OK. So the moment I've done that, let me just put this back on my screen. Okay, so can you see the chart back? Yeah, so the moment I've loaded the chart, I just need to do some simple formatting. One formatting, we've done this before, just to catch us up to speed. All these buttons, I don't need them on my chart. I can just right click and do hide all field buttons on charts. This legend that we have here, I don't need it. I can click on this plus sign, disable the legend. These values we have beneath here, I don't need it. I can go to my axis and disable primary horizontal, right? The only thing I will probably leave is the title, and we've done this before. That's why I'm going a bit fast. But if you want me to recap it, I can still do it. So I can click on data labels to show the data label of the chart. So can we see this chart is a lot neater, right? It's a lot neater than how it was before. Yeah. Okay, so for this, I can just give you the title, revenue by region. Right. I'll move this here. Okay, so we have these charts already created. Now, so let's start building out our dashboard. So the first key component of building out your dashboard, because we have most of the report already, is first setting out your report, which is what we've done already. We've created our reports. Now, a key component your dashboard should have is a title. And what we will do to make our dashboard neat is all these grid lines we are seeing in Excel. I want to get rid of it. I can just press a shortcut on my system and it get rid of the grid line. Okay, so the shortcut is Alt WVG. If you cannot remember the shortcut, I'll just do Ctrl Z, come to my view, tab, and I should see grid line somewhere. Show, right? Okay, show, yeah. Then I'll disable this grid line. Yeah. So that works as well. So under your view tab, you can come to the show, then you can disable the grid line, right? So what I'm doing is I want to have a neat canvas, a neat place for me to play around with without obstruction in my data. So the very first thing I will do is insert a shape to be my title. So please, let's look up. So the very first thing is I'll insert a rectangle. Let me use maybe any of these rectangles. I'll insert this shape, and this will be my title for my dashboard. Can we see how I inserted the shape? Okay. Go to your insert tab, illustrations, shape, insert tab, illustration, shape. So I can now draw this. I can draw the shape which I inserted across. So it's just good to have it maybe somewhere around your first few columns.